I was diagnosed 5th of January this year with stage 2 breast cancer. And it's been a roller coaster from there, really. I did IVF. I did first attempt at chemo in February, which didn't go very well, unfortunately, and meant a week-long hospital stay in Brentwood, neutropenic, which is when you have no immune system whatsoever. Then surgery in March, which took a long, long time to heal. And then I did about 4 months of chemo, weekly chemo, starting in June. And I've just done 10 rounds of radio. So it's been a hell of a 9 months, really.
Crikey, that is a lot. What have been the toughest bits of that? I mean, there's so many, but just can you give us an insight into what it's been like and what you've been vlogging about? I know you've been sharing this journey online, which is really generous of you to sort of help others through.
Oh, I have. Well, I started that as a way for friends and family to check in with me. So I didn't have to make constant phone calls to give people updates, but actually it became something more than that. And other patients have found it and reached out to me through messages and things. And I've been able to support a few people as they've been on a similar journey, which has felt great. It's um, it's been tough. That first round of chemo was really, really tough. It took a lot out of me, and I'm allergic to the injections that they give you afterwards that boost you back up. So I got home after my first chemo, self injected for the first time, and had a full anaphylactic reaction to it. So that was probably one of the scariest points of it. Um, and then the stay on Brentwood, I was in isolation for that week and a half in hospital, and that was really tough. The psychological side of it, I say, is a real challenge a lot of the time. And I've done a lot of this second round of chemo. I've done on my own. I live on my own, so there's the trying to keep my mental health together as well as kind of do everything I need to do physically to stay as well as I could be and strong as I could be for the next treatment. Has been it's been really hard.
Gosh, Hannah, and you sound like a people person and someone who loves being on the stage and loves performing as well, and all that's stripped at the same time that you're worried about, not being here anymore. I mean, that sounds absolutely brutal.
You feel very vulnerable. There's an awareness of just human frailty, and that vulnerable feeling is yeah, it's very unnerving. It's tough, but I've focused on the human element through all of it. So even that stay on Brentwood, I had such lovely people looking after me. I had this nice routine of smiling faces coming through the door. All the guys up at Derriford are absolutely amazing. I've been so well looked after here, but I've focused on the people around me. So I look forward to the chats I'm going to have with the receptionists and with the nurses, and try and focus on the positive side of it, because they're just they're all just such incredible people.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. That really is nice to hear for anyone who uses any of our hospitals, really, that you got that kind of care. How are you doing? How are you now?
Oh, I'm very tired. Radio, chemo brain is one thing, but radio actually affects you a lot. Of the fatigue kind of increases the brain fog element of things and really knackers your body out. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So radio continues to affect you for about a week afterwards. So this next week will be the last really hard bit. And then hopefully the recovery process will start. I'm still on immunotherapy, so I've still got 12 Herceptin injections to go, and I have them every 3 weeks. So my treatment will actually carry on for a lot of the next year. But end of radio, they see as end of primary treatment. So that should have been the worst part of the storm that I've got through now. And chemo did test me. I was quite ill going into my penultimate chemotherapy session, and ended up very, very ill after that with a chest infection. I got viral tonsillitis and a chest infection. But then I did insist on keeping up with my gigs. I didn't want to just cancel everything for the year. So I carried on gigging, which there is a slight risk if your immune system is compromised. Just being out in a pub is a bit of a gamble. But I was keen to keep raising awareness as I went, keep raising money. I've shaken the buckets at my gigs. I've raised over £6,000 so far this year, and I've only missed 6 gigs in the last 9 months, which turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to. I'm pretty chuffed that I didn't have to miss more.
I'm just trying to get my head around that you're in the middle of that treatment and some of the stuff you've described, and you're still up there singing and gigging and being out there and in public and raising awareness and shaking a bucket during your treatment. That's usually the kind of thing people do afterwards, not during.
I can be very stubborn, as people around me know. And I did gigs after my surgery. I had seroma in one of my sites, which is fluid buildup, which is it's horrible. That's probably one of the grossest parts, because there's fluid that comes out of it. And I had to gig, so I have to wrap myself up, pick my outfits carefully, make sure things are covered, and then go out and just. Well, I sat down for my gigs. I suppose that's the compromise I made. I'd sit down for my gigs through it, but I'm so glad that I managed to make it through. My bands have been absolutely wonderful. They've been so supportive of what I've been trying to do to raise awareness, that they've stepped in. There's been more instrumentals. Other people have sung more songs. They've, lightened the load a little bit, but I couldn't give up music. Music's what's kept me going. I just focused on the next gig. I've got to get into a good enough state, get to the next gig, and each time I've had a microphone in my hand, there's some kind of mental reset there where I remember that's what I'm fighting for. That's who I am. It's who I am as a person. It's what I absolutely love, and holding on to that's really, really, really helped me.
I'm sorry to give away your age, but you're 31, only 31, which is just so young to get a diagnosis like this. Have you gone through that whole, why me? Why has it chosen me, and all of that stuff? Has that been tough when you're so young?
Yeah, especially there's no history of breast cancer in my family. So it was it was a total surprise. I do have a history. I got Lyme's disease at 15, so I was used to being chronically ill. First, for 15 years before this happened. But there's anger. There's anger and frustration, because I thought I was going to get my life together at 30. It's like, right, okay, let's throw myself into these new challenges. I was on an accounting course. I'm training as a potter to hopefully go and help out my family business in Somerset. As well as I've got an album with the hot figs that I want to release, and I had all these plans, and then they were all just kicked sideways. There is that feeling of the rug being pulled out from under you. And yes, there have been days where I've just sat and wondered why. But it doesn't do you any good to focus on that, really. I've tried to allow the time to feel the negative emotions, but not wallow for too long, because you've got to get through it at the end of the day. It's one foot in front of the other, and you've got your treatment plan is laid out in front of you, and you just have to keep going with it in order to get to the end of it. It's just one thing at a time, and try and focus on the positives.
Yeah, you've got to allow those thoughts in, recognise them for a bit, and then get rid of them again, so that they can be sort of heard, or allow a part of a day where you're going to let it in and then move on and do all the positive stuff that you've done since. It sounds like your approach has really worked.
I've had wonderful support from the Mustard Tree in Derriford as well. So I've been working with a specialist cancer nurse, and I have a counsellor that I was working with before. I'm a big advocate for counselling. I think it really helps. It can help you find a new perspective. A slight shift in perspective can really help you cope with really hard things that are happening around you. So Janet and Sue have been absolutely incredible support, and I have a wonderful, wonderful network around here. My parents have been on the phone to me anytime, and the music community in Plymouth has just been incredible. I had a cancer coming out party in February, because I didn't want people to be tiptoeing around me, or looking at me, up the front of a gig and going, "Oh, she's not looking very well today," or whispering about it. So I was like, no, we're going to throw it all out there. And I had it at the Nowhere Inn, and the place was rammed. 17 people shaved their heads for me.
No way.
And 8 of us managed to donate to Little Princess Trust. Oh. And all of them have been sending me messages, checking in, sending support. I've been so lucky for that. And I feel so humbled by all the amazing people that are in my life. They've all kept me going. They've really kept me going.
That's so lovely to hear. Your Facebook page is called Hair Today But Gone Tomorrow. Very nice. I like that. And you're also hosting this music festival. You mentioned the community. 21st of October to raise awareness funds for the Pink Ribbon Foundation as well. October, it's great timing, Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. So
Yeah.
check,
Yeah,
please. Check, please, men
it's the
and women.
21st and 22nd. Yes, yeah, we're going to do at least 2 breast checks a day. So it's punk rock on the Saturday, jazz, blues, funk, folk on the Sunday. It's both days at the depot. And between sets, we're going to have interviews with patients that are going through their own journeys, hopefully with local cancer support organisations. I'm hoping to get some mental health organisations in there too to have a little talk about what they're doing. And we will be getting everyone to put their drinks down and check their breasts, because it is a
Great
rising
idea.
statistic in men as well. And I think we shouldn't be scared of talking about it. If you catch it early, it's so much easier to deal with. And I'm so lucky that I did catch mine early. I caught it before it spread to lymph nodes or blood vessels. So even though it's been a roller coaster of a year, I know I'm very lucky. I'm at the thin end of the wedge as far as treatment plans go. And I just want to get more people thinking about it.